Hello. Finding good legal candidates is by necessity a full-time quest. For anyone who has experience of working in a large law firm that's regularly recruiting, or maybe a rapidly expanding law firm, you'll know just how competitive it is to find and recruit the best law candidates. And if your experience is with smaller law firms and you've tried advertising in the past, you'll perhaps know that it takes a very large advertising budget and some fairly fast action to source good legal candidates. Often the cost of a single advert or a small amount of advertising is simply wasted. To look for the reasons why, for a start off there are a number of specialist recruitment agencies who specialise in finding and then finding jobs for good legal candidates. The agencies typically have very good deals with job boards and spend large budgets on advertising for candidates on those. And legal recruitment company systems and employees are working full-time on getting to the best candidates first. Of course, none of what the legal recruitment agencies do is magic. Anyone could in theory do exactly what the legal recruitment agencies are doing. However, what it does require is a significant amount of resources and full-time people dedicated to sourcing and finding the right candidates. So unless you have a very large budget and a team of people in your office who can stop what they're normally doing and dedicate themselves to finding legal candidates on a full-time basis, you're not likely to be able to compete with getting to the best candidates in time without some assistance. As they say though, if you can't beat them, join them. And at Law Candidate Direct, we want you to get the full advantage of our full-time efforts, our marketing investment and our paid-for recruitment IT systems so that you can in fact start seeing the best legal candidates around. Here are just a few of the ways that we at Law Candidate Direct find the best law candidates for you. Method number 1. As I've just mentioned, we have a large advertising budget and we advertise regularly on all the major job boards and a large number of the niche legal boards. To give you an idea, if you were to advertise on all of the job boards that we advertise on regularly for just a one-off advertisement, you'd be spending well into 4 figures. And that will be just one standard ad on each job board, with absolutely no guarantee of getting the best candidates. If you think about it, you're only going to capture the candidates applying on those boards in the 28 days or so that your ads are active, whereas we're continually capturing details of candidates seeking work all year round. Don't take a risk spending a large amount on advertising. Let us do that for you, and then we're taking the risk, not you. Method number 2 is social media. To get the best candidates, you need to be very active on social media these days, particularly on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and more recently Pinterest and Google+, and some other social media sites as well. Now, this is a cumulative thing, and at first with social media you don't normally see any great results. But after months of consistently posting jobs, articles, information about careers and so on, this becomes perhaps one of the most important ways of generating new candidate inquiries and receiving CVs. Typically, we're posting to all social media channels several times a day, and it's the cumulative result of doing that that leads to results in finding good candidates. Method number 3, this is related to our social media projects, and it involves webinars. We use the medium of both live and pre-recorded webinars to find good quality candidates who are showing an interest in changing job, or at least a dissatisfaction with their current job. So we broadcast webinars on topics such as how to get a salary increase, how to draft a perfect legal CV, how to change areas of law and similar topics. I'm sure you get the idea. The webinars are offered free of charge and we use them really to get into contact with people who may be interested in moving jobs, and then we engage with those candidates and let them know how we can assist them in finding new career options. So that's webinars, a great way of finding good candidates first. We normally advertise for those webinars on social media channels, so that's the link there. Method number 4 is our own databases. Every time we find and send a number of candidates for a particular job, only one person may get the job, and so the other candidates we know are still looking. They're not necessarily the best person for the particular job they went for, but they may well be the best candidate for your vacancy, and they're already in our database. We also work alongside Wells Dean Legal Recruitment, and we have access to their database of candidates. They're typically contacted and receiving the region of 1,000 new CVs from candidates each month. Many candidates instruct Wells Dean on an exclusive basis as well, so these candidates are great for us because you can't get the details anywhere else. Method number 5, we source candidates through third-party databases. So, for example, You may or may not know that when a candidate posts their CV on, say, Reed or Monster job boards for a job advertised there, their CV is stored in Reed's or Monster CV database. And if you subscribe to the premium services, as we do with all of the major job boards, then we have full access to all of those databases and can search for CVs on the database. We're looking at those CVs every time we get an instruction. So if you instruct us to find a legal candidate, we can see who's applied for any role or just registered their CV with all of the top recruitment job boards, and that means access to around 150,000 or more active legal candidates. Method number 6 is related to the job boards, and it's watchdog alerts. These are provided again as part of the premium service by all the major job boards, and what happens is this. We put in criteria for any CVs we're interested in seeing on an ongoing basis. For example, we may say we want to see anyone applying for a personal injury fee in a role in Manchester or a commercial conveyancing assistant role in London. What then happens is that the first time someone meeting any of those watchdog criteria applies for a job, we get an email with their contact details and a copy of their CV. And obviously we then have ways of making sure we're quickly onto that and contacting the candidate straight away. Method number 7 is a bit more traditional. It's exhibiting at law fairs and exhibitions. Wells Dean regularly attend law fairs, exhibitions and the like, anywhere really that lawyers are congregating, and they hand out information and talk to as many candidates as possible. Whenever we do an event, it inevitably leads to a number of new candidates, and again these are often very high quality candidates. Method number 8 is similar in that we also talk at conferences and introduce conferences, again with the view that we can raise awareness of our profile and also directly meet with lawyers and potential new candidates, and again this leads to high quality candidates. Method number 9 is headhunting, a bit of a controversial one this. Some people refer to it as recruiting passive candidates. The reality is though that it's essentially headhunting, and what we do is we have some quite sophisticated software to find people who haven't applied for a job but have the skills that we're looking for somewhere on the internet. It may be that there are details on the LinkedIn profile or on their current firm's website with their profile on the website, and we can identify those candidates quickly using the software. We also have more traditional word of mouth networks to find similar candidates, and then we contact those candidates. Some are perfectly happy where they are and so they're not interested. However, some of the candidates that we contact are inevitably willing to listen to the right opportunities, and although this is quite labour intensive, it can turn out that these candidates really are the very best candidates that we can find. Method number 10, which is the last method I'm going to discuss now. We do use a number of other different ways of sourcing employees. Some of them are confidential. There's one method in particular that I think we're the only recruitment agency that's using the method, so I can't discuss that. But number 10 is a method that all recruitment agencies are likely to use, and that's referral. I touched on it briefly when I was discussing headhunting with you, that there certain word of mouth networks that we use, and so effectively what we do is we contact people who we know, including our clients and candidates, and we ask them if they know anyone else who would be suitable for a particular role. And this is actually a very efficient and effective network that we've got, and it yields good results when we're looking for people in specific roles. And again, one of the key advantages of doing this is that we find candidates who you won't see anywhere else. They're not actively applying for jobs necessarily, and certainly they won't be working with other recruitment agencies. So that's just a small insight into the work that we do to find good candidates for you. It may be that you want to do all of that by yourself alongside your legal caseload or management responsibilities. If not though, then I think that Law Candidate Direct has the very best way of you outsourcing that work to us, and at the very best price. Fill out our fast 5-minute application form now, and we'll send you details of some excellent and well motivated candidates within the next 72 hours.